morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ben Zone. I am Ben Cornett, and we're doing something a little different here. Something I always wanted to do, but never got around to it until right now. We're doing a wrestling show, pro wrestling show. We're going to do that each week, or we're going to try to do it each week. But I wanted to do this, and I got some wrestling fans that I know from um, like the Ben Zone platform, other platforms, and we're gonna do this. I'm happy because now I get to talk about one of my favorite things and that I watch. I've been watching since I was 5 years old. I am 42 now, so it's been 37 years. So anyway, enough about me. Let me bring in our guest here that we're going to discuss tonight. Um, the Royal Rumble fallout, Raw and SmackDown this week, and some other stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me first introduce you to Mr. Nick Rosario. Nick, how you doing tonight, man?
Hey, Ben, doing well, man. Thank you very much for having me. It's always good to be had. Appreciate that.
Awesome.
But yeah, doing well.
Great. Good job. Thanks for coming on, Nick. Our next guest
Right,
is a friend of mine that we do the NFL edition with here every Thursday. He'll be on the Ben Zone or Have At It sometimes. Mr. Alex Loosemore. Alex, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Excited to talk some wrestling. I'm kind of getting back into it now with knowing that there's other people that are watching it that can discuss it.
Awesome.
Yeah, excited to get into it.
Great. Good stuff, man. And finally, he's my other guest here on Have At It almost every Friday, along with NFL edition. He proudly serves our country here in the U.S. as a sailor, and he is my favorite sailor and yours as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alec Schomber. Alec, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. It's crazy how I didn't get partial credit of this.
Yes, you do, actually, and I apologize for that. Started a WWE conversation. Chat.
It was a joke. It was a joke. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Only made chat commenting saying, "Oh, what the fuck?" Getting mad.
You are just man. He's usually nicer when he's on camera. So anyway,
is that what it is?
It's a game. I'm sorry.
Is that why he's not on camera?
Oh, don't let us disturb you, Alec, from your game.
No, I'm
Yeah.
I can talk while I'm playing this because what are you?
Yeah. This is my wrestling show too, but I'm playing a game. Yeah.
That's the credit for me. I'm just listen, all good guys.
Give me my credit, Ben, while I play this game. Yeah.
Outstanding. So,
sorry,
guys,
just talking
first
crap.
episode. Now I don't have a name for this yet. I'm gonna get one. We're gonna maybe I'll discuss with Alex and Alec and Nick, and Kyle. Kyle's gonna try to come on tonight. He had some last minute things, but all good. He'll still be on weekly. But why don't we get started? The Royal Rumble fallout, man. It is I thought it was a pretty good pay-per-view. For the most part, had some good matches on there. I heard some complaints from people on the outside. Oh, it was so predictable. He won, she won. Come on, man. Where's the unpredictability? Well, I get it. It's social media these days. You're not going to please everybody. But for the most part, I, focused on the show, didn't listen to the noise, wanted to see how it went. And I was satisfied for the most part. Nick, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on Rumble?
It's funny because I've been watching the Royal Rumble pretty much since it started in '88 when Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the first one. And they're always, you always wait for the surprise entrance. You want to see who comes back. And really with the men's one, you didn't really have too many of that. I mean, Edge, obviously Booker T came in. But other than that, everybody was just a guy on the roster currently. And, obviously Cody coming out 30, I don't think was much of a surprise. And obviously him winning, I think was what most people predicted. And I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen. My biggest thing with the Rumble, man, was you had to be impressed with Gunther going that hour and 11 minutes from start to finish, man. And him and Cody actually the match kind of they had when they were the last two was actually really good. Like that I think it really made that match more than it probably was. Like I said, because a lot of people expect the surprise entrance and usually get 5 or 6 throughout the thing. Which, I think Lesnar going out really quickly to Lashley was a surprise, but it furthers the storyline, so it makes sense. Seth Rollins getting thrown out by Logan Paul to set up a WrestleMania match. That makes sense. So I mean, for the most part, it was your standard Rumble match. A couple of good spots in there. Obviously, Ricochet and Logan Paul was phenomenal when they met in the middle, coming off each side of the ropes. That was phenomenal. But yeah, overall, I mean, definitely a solid B match with everything. And again, Cody winning was not much of a surprise. So, and I think that's fine. I mean, he's the hot guy right now. Everybody wanted Cody to come back. I mean, I was real quick, and then I'll get off. I actually was at the Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins where he had the torn pec.
Oh,
And I'm telling you, when he took his jacket off and everybody saw that, the air came out of the Allstate Arena. Let me tell you, everybody was like, "Oh, what the hell, man?"
yeah.
He's ready, because it was so noticeable when he took the coat off. You're just like, "Oh my god!" And they put on a great match. It was like almost 40 minutes. It was just phenomenal to see live. But yeah, Cody's the hot guy. You kind of figured that was his Royal Rumble to win. So yeah.
Yeah, and Nick, I'm going to bounce to you off of the Gunther thing. I think the reason they have him go an hour long, WWE sees something in him. He's going to be the future Gunther. I mean, he looks like money.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
either that long in a match, that usually means we're going to, okay, here's the keys. Show us something. Triple H likes that kind of stuff. So very creative, very well done. Alex, Mr. Loosemore, what were your thoughts on the Royal Rumble match?
I mean, kind of to go off something that Nick said too, with the lack of surprise appearances, one thing I thought of is we had all those surprise appearances before because you didn't really have enough like star wrestlers to fill that match. I think what they're doing now is they're trying to push these young guys and show like, hey, we don't need to rely on all the old guys like they did before, which I honestly liked. I liked that there was a lot of guys I hadn't seen before. Like I said, just getting back into it. And I really enjoyed it. I thought the two right people won. Gunther looked phenomenal. I loved that.
Yeah.
And then just a solid card overall. Like, I mean, that main event was unreal. I was so in love with that entire thing. Like B plus, like not amazing, but it was good. It was solid.
Oh, very good, Alex. Yeah, I thought it was great too. Both the men's and women's Royal Rumble. We kind of knew who would win, but the way they put it on, very unique. And the surprises, I'm glad they didn't do too many because, you want to, like you said, build up newer stars. You want to get them, more shine on the show, give them more shine going forward. So that way you could put more focus on them rather than getting people, from the past where it kind of takes away from the other guys. So that's good stuff, Mr. Loosemore. And Mr. Schomburg, what were your thoughts on the Royal Rumble matches?
I actually enjoyed it, but if you think about it, like back then, we didn't really have like social media to like kind of like spoil the rumors for us. That's just how it is nowadays. Today, where you'll see the rumors of like who's going to project to win it, who's going to be in it. And if you like don't look at that, it kind of like doesn't ruin the surprise for you. But everybody knew since that Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes brought like Fallout that they were going to try to push him to be champion because that was the main reason why they brought him back into the company. And I see like this is my like full opinion on it. I enjoyed it. The right people did win, like Alex said. I completely agree with that. There are some matches I wish were a little bit longer. But I mean, nowadays you can't really complain about that. But overall, it was a 10 I gave it like a 9 out of 10.
Good stuff, Mr. Schomburg. Yeah, I kind of I'll go 8.5 out of 10. I mean, some very good matches. I thought the Pitch Black match was okay. But I thought LA Knight should have got more out of that match than he did. It was almost like a squash match. I mean, you build this up. He kind of carried this program.
Oh, he absolutely did.
And then he kind of did that to him. And then this week on SmackDown, when we'll talk about it, I didn't even see him on the show. So it kind of tells me like, have they kind of given up on him already, or it was just kind of the wrong fit. But other than that, I don't have any complaints. This was good. Bianca beat Alexa. I think we all knew that was going to happen. Bianca's going to.
I was hoping Alexa would get a victory, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think she's going to go on to working with Bray again with the whole Funhouse stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the question now is let's talk about Raw. Speaking of that, the women are going to have an elimination chamber match for Raw's for Bianca Belair's title at for WrestleMania. So we know that Rhea already accepted. She made it Charlotte her opponent. That's who she's choosing, which I think is a good move. Who do you think Bianca faces in this? We'll start with you, Mr. Loosemore. What do you think?
Looking at the list of competitors they have there, I would say Asuka. Just it's another big time match that, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't gone 1-on-1. And it's two phenomenal wrestlers. So get them in there, have them go 1-on-1. But if you're gonna build up another one of those young stars, I think Raquel Rodriguez is her name.
Yeah.
I would look at her too, because she seems like a pretty good wrestler too. Like, she obviously still developing, but I would go one of those two.
Okay. Mr. Rosario, who would you think would be the best fit for Bianca and Mania?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go two ways because I'm going to go with sentimental and who I think is going to be. And I kind of have to agree with Alex. I think when you're looking at the lineup, you got Raquel, Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, who were the last four in the Rumble, and then Natalya won on Friday to be the fifth person, and then the Raw match on Monday will put in the sixth person, which will probably be Carmella, I guess, because she's back now, and that whole thing of pushing her. So Carmella will probably be the sixth entrant. So for me, I think it will be Asuka. I think if it's not that it's safe booking, but I think, like you said, Alex, I don't remember them having a one-on-one match because Asuka was aligned with her for all that time with her and Bliss and all that. So I would love to see an Asuka and Belair match, to be honest with you, because especially with Asuka going back to her old character, kind of with the old face paint and the mist and all that stuff. Reminiscent of the Great Muta used to spit at everybody.
Yeah.
But I kind of hope. I think she deserved better during her thing with Ronda Rousey. I like Liv Morgan. I think she's just improved as a wrestler. Now, I don't think she'll get the spot, but the sentimentality of it is I would hope that they give her another shot at some point, because I think the way they handled her with Ronda was really horrible with her as champion. Like, just the way they did it, the finishes and all that. I just thought it was bad the way they did it. And I just hope that she gets another shot, but more than likely it'll probably be Asuka.
Okay. That sounds good, Nick. Mr. Schomburg, what do you think? Who do you think Bianca faces at WrestleMania?
In my opinion, it's gonna be the way I see it panning out. Like, they brought Asuka back for because they kind of pushed her out of the limelight as of late, but now that they're bringing her back, it gives you that kind of assumption that they're gonna push her for the match against her. Even though, like Nick says, it would be great to have Liv Morgan get a second chance, which, yes, she did. What the way I see Liv Morgan's career going as of late is how they did Sasha Banks when she had a title, where she had it, went to a pay-per-view, and then lost the title. This is I'm seeing her go through that same path, which I never liked, because it was kind of like, why even waste the chance of a title match if you're just gonna make the person lose it next pay-per-view? I would like to see Asuka win it, and also like to see Liv Morgan, but I think it's going to be Asuka winning it.
Okay. My personal opinion is I'm going to agree with you, all three of you guys. I think it will be Asuka, just because I think it's a unique match. Like you said, we've not seen it before. I know, Nick, you're saying about Liv Morgan. I'm just going to be frank with you. I've never been really impressed with her. I mean, I think she's more of a mid-card person, kind of chasing the title.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's great that she won it, but during her title reign, it kind of seemed like a couple months after, the longer it went, she was getting less of a reaction from the crowd. I mean, it was a good feel-good story, but it just seemed like she wasn't. You didn't hear the big pops like you hear for a Charlotte or even a Ronda. So, and speaking of popping in, ladies and gentlemen, we got one more guest here. Let's bring this dude in. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and
Hey.
What's
only.
up, Kyle?
How's it going?
Kyle.
Look at this guy.
Kyle.
What's up?
What's up, man?
How you doing, Kyle?
Hey, you okay? Okay? You Batman, okay? I'm good. I got all my my stuff all situated and everything. So,
Oh, look at you.
where are we at right now with this?
Well, we're talking about the Royal Rumble Fallout, bud. Why don't we give your thoughts on real quick?
The
on
Fallout, hey?
the
Okay.
men's and women's-
Like in what respect? Like how are we talking about? Just where we're going from it, or okay?
Well, just the fallout from the two matches, and then going from there.
Well, yeah. But like honestly, let's be honest here. It was pretty much a given of who was going to win it. It's unfortunate. Like typically with the Royal Rumble, they like to keep it a little bit hush hush, but you kind of saw where this was going for like about a month now. They've been trying to hype up Rhea Ripley for some time, and honestly, she's a pretty big name right now, so I don't mind necessarily them giving her the win. I don't know. Her being the first entry is also pretty predictable, I'll be honest with you, but
Yeah.
all in all, I'm not against it. Like, I'm not a huge Charlotte Flair fan to begin with, so if somebody does dethrone her, I'm always happy about that. Cody Rhodes, like, it's unfortunate because he's pretty much a casualty of, of his own like promos and everything like that. Just to see him come in, like, it was very, very predictable he was going to win the Royal Rumble. But with that being said, he's an amazing wrestler. He really is. And I think he'll be a good face for some time. But yeah, it's really interesting because, Cody Rhodes, like when he first came back, was it at a pay-per-view? It was, right? Was it at WrestleMania?
He was at WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, when he came back, huge pop, right? Huge pop. But then that injury unfortunately sidelined him, right? So, but now just seeing Sami Zayn and the hype he's getting, it's funny because Cody Rhodes was the clear person to go and win the title, but the fact that Sami Zayn is even in this conversation now where there's the possibility that he could actually win like the world title, or they might shift the script over towards him, is pretty awesome. So yeah, I don't know. It's really tough to say right now where they're gonna go. Yeah, do they give Roman? Do they make him lose one title? Does he keep both titles? I don't know. It's kind of tough. Or maybe he loses both titles, right? So I don't know. That's my thoughts though on that.
Well, Kyle, let's segue into that, guys. He mentioned Sami Zayn. Now we'll talk about the main event of the Royal Rumble, or the fallout from after the main event, because that was really the story. We knew Roman would beat Kevin Owens, I should say, and that happened. But then after that, Sami, we saw the turn. Except we saw Sami be the one to turn, not Roman Reigns getting out of the group. And another twist to it was Jey Uso kind of shocked and then kind of walked out. Afterwards. So guys, I want to, Kyle's brought up something interesting. We know Cody is kind of the handpicked by The Office right now with Triple H for being the guy to possibly dethrone Roman Reigns. Do you guys maybe want to throw in a curveball and say, you know what? Those pops for Sami are just getting louder and louder, and he's getting more sympathy. Should we go maybe in that direction?
I have it in two directions.
Oh, okay.
I have it. Like you said yesterday when we was on the phone call, I don't see him losing the title at Elimination Chamber because, like you said, don't let him lose the title back in that kind of pay-per-view. But I agree with Kyle what he said yesterday. I could see it could be a situation where he loses both titles at WrestleMania, because you can see a sense of the bloodline slowly like I wouldn't say like parting ways, but slowly like declining, and it could be where
it's almost falling apart.
Yeah, because Jay's. I feel like Jay causes Roman Reigns one of the titles. That would be against Cody Rhodes, and then you have a situation where Sami Zayn could probably pop up in day 2, whichever day they have the match for the first championship, and they put the title on the line a second time. It could be one of those situations, or they probably push it back for like SummerSlam.
Okay, that's interesting. Nick, I'll go to you. What are your thoughts on maybe throwing a curveball here, maybe doing something different instead of the norm?
Well, you Yeah, no, and I wanted to say this because I think this is the best storyline that WWE has told in many years. You
Right.
got to
Yeah.
go back 2 years to when this all started with the Bloodline, with
Yeah.
the whole, Roman's beating the hell out of Jay in the cage, and Jimmy has to come in and say, "That's it, it's enough. We're going to fall in line. We're going to acknowledge you." All that stuff. That was two. You don't realize that was over 2 years ago
Yeah.
with that cage match.
That's
And
insane.
Yeah.
yeah, that whole storyline, they built it up and they built it up. And then when they added Sammy, 6, 7 months ago, whenever it was, that thing just really took off. Like, I think they went, well, we'll try this out. But then when they realized what happened, they're like, we have to run with this. And right now, you're at that point where you go, you've told a great story up to this point. And the whole thing with Jay, who never liked Sammy, and now he loves Sammy and blah, blah, prevents him from getting his head knocked off with it, getting his neck broke, the whole story with the chair and all that stuff. Like, that's phenomenal storytelling. Like, that's a way to do this. And here's the thing. I really hope, like you said, they don't skimp on the payoff, because you've been building this damn thing for 2 years now with this whole bloodline and all this stuff. And now in the last 6, 7 months with Sammy, you've built something that the crowd is. I mean, you heard them when Roman came on and they all said "F you, Roman," after after they beat the hell out of Sammy. Like, the crowd totally turned on Roman.
Oh
And
yeah.
and that's where you go. You have to pay attention to that. And if WWE is smart, like you said, yeah, you got Cody Rhodes obviously in the main event. You're not going to diminish that. But I think what Alec was talking about the 2 nights is, I think you got to have Roman defend both belts, one each night. The Saturday night for that first card, he should be, whatever the main event is, he wrestles whoever. And the second night, he wrestles whoever. But I think that's how you do it, because that's a good way to also kind of put the bloodline story to a close. Roman can take some time off, and do all that and blah, blah, because, he's been the guy for the last 2 years. So you give him a break so the crowd doesn't really, so that when he makes a comeback, say at SummerSlam, the crowd would go nuts again for Roman. So I think you really have to do this the smart way and play it out that way, I think. And then this way, you still keep your biggest heel you've had in the last, 10 years, really. I mean, there's no bigger heel right now than Roman, and it's great. The story, like I said, the storytelling's phenomenal. So I think that's the way it should go. We'll see if it does, but I kind of agree with Alec on that. You got to have Roman defend both belts, one each night, I think.
Yeah, and I want to get to my scenario on this first, but I want to get to Alex and Kyle's thoughts on this. So I'll start with Alex. Do you agree along the lines with Nick and Alec, or do you have like a different approach to how you
see? I agree that it should be Sammy getting one shot and Cody getting the other, but you have to do it the right way, because this is going very Daniel Bryan-esque from 9 years ago, where Sami Zayn's it's at the point where you can't ignore it anymore. It's so loud. They're always cheering for him. It's insane. But it has to come from Cody's side. I think personally, I think Cody has to be the one to kind of, whether they force him to be like, okay, you've got to pick one, whether it's from some authority figure or something like that. Cody's got to be the one to pick the WWE Championship, because when he came back, he said that's the one thing he's wanted all along.
Right.
So I think you obviously have Cody fight for that one, and then Sammy for the Universal title, and then I think you'd have to do Sammy night 1, Cody night 2, just because the Rumble win, I think, should matter, and I think that should be the full main event. But
I agree with that.
Sammy absolutely deserves his shot.
Okay, Mr. Yacy, good stuff, by the way, Alex. How about your thoughts, man?
I think it's kind of tough. So, like Alec was saying, kind of the segue with that. There should be some traction to winning the Royal Rumble, obviously, right? So I think they shouldn't diminish that. I do agree with that. But also, at the same time, kind of seeing how the crowd's going, I feel like the crowd should dictate kind of, they should almost decide of what should come next. You know what I mean? Like, the fact is, Sammy's never had this much hype. The storyline was never going to be like a big storyline. It was just something for Sami Zayn to do originally. That's from what I've read, at least. So, honestly, if they were smart, I would give the title to Sami Zayn. Honestly, even if it's a short reign, I think it would be really smart, in my opinion. He's probably never going to get a chance like this again in his career to potentially be in the world title picture. So, they could really do a lot with this, and the crowd would eat it up. They would love it. So I personally think that's the direction they should go. Honestly, even with Cody Rhodes, like realistically, like don't get me wrong, he should win the title. If he didn't, I don't really think it would tarnish him that much, to be quite honest with you. He's a big star, and you could probably throw him in almost any kind of title situation. You could throw him in like a United Tights or United States situation. You could throw him in the IC situation, and he'd probably shine no matter what. Like he's good with promos and he's good at wrestling, which is a very unique and uncharacteristic kind of qualities that current wrestlers have. I would say at least. Usually a wrestler has one or the other. So I don't know. It's tough. I think Roman though should do double duty. Him having both titles, you should work twice as hard, and that's how it should be shown, right? But is wrestling or WWE going to do that? It's tough to say. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't buying the Sami Zayn story right now, but I'm all for it. Like I'm behind. I'm liking it. It's probably the most interesting storyline I've seen in a little bit. So,
yeah.
Okay, man. Great stuff from Mr. Yacy. Guys, good stuff. I'm going to throw a little scenario here, but first, what you said, Kyle, about the crowds, you got to listen to them. You got to listen to the crowd. And it kind of reminds me of Mick Foley back in 98, where heading into 99.
Yeah.
Remember, he was in like the corporation, and then, but then it turned out The Rock was the guy all along. Well, then guess what? Crowds kept, going for Mick, and then they finally pulled the trigger on Raw. Against The Rock. That was the infamous, that'll put butts in the seats. Nitro.
Right. That's what turned the Monday Night Wars back to WWE. Right. WCW screwed that up royally. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I mean. You got to listen to the crowds, and they did. And now my scenario would be, we're in Montreal for this show, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Chamber.
Correct.
About what happened in Montreal 20
screw job, yep.
Yeah, the screw job.
Montreal. Screw job, yeah.
Sammy's from where? Montreal.
Yeah.
Montreal.
If they did something where he gets screwed, here's a scenario. I want to be in. I got screwed. I want to be in that title picture for WrestleMania 2. I deserve another shot. I had him beat. I had Roman beat in the match. That's where, they're talking about separating the titles.
Yeah.
Like, give Sammy a shot at one of them, give Cody the other shot at it, because he technically won the Royal Rumble and earned that right to go to WrestleMania. So there's where you split your titles, one show and then another show, and then take them off Roman at Mania. Then, like Nick said, he'll maybe take a little break for a little while, and then you go from there. Then you have a champion on each show.
It should be.
As it should be, yeah.
Guys,
exactly.
I don't think it's a little break, though. I'll be honest with you. Like, I know you say take a little break. I think once Roman's done, I'm going to tell you right now, I think he's done. Like, that's it. I don't think Roman is coming back after this reign, and there's been rumors apparently that he's not in the healthiest of shape. Like, I don't know how true that is or not, but with everything going on, like, Roman pretty much, I'm like, again, don't take my word for gold by any means, right? But I heard that he came back into WWE after he went through the whole health scare and his leukemia coming back and everything like that, because of this situation where he was promised, to be the guy, the face, right? Because Roman Reigns is supposed to be the face for some time, right? And especially with a life scare like that, like regardless if it's WWE, football, soccer, it doesn't matter. When stuff like that happens, you reassess your life. Honestly, like for anybody, it'd be tough for that not to happen, right? So I think that when he's done with this and this is his reign and his history legacy is like it's already created, but at this point it's solidified, right?
Yeah.
I think he takes a long time off, and then you might see him kind of like in the same situation as what you see Goldberg, where they pop in every now and again, or
Goldberg.
Yeah, just a situation like that where he won't be a regular, but like he'll be like Brock Lesnar was for that.
I was just gonna say I could see that.
Yeah, like
no, please, no more Brock Lesnar's. That's enough.
Yeah,
for the love of Pete.
But you could do it like obviously Roman's way more like charismatic and that kind of stuff, where you could have he could come in for like a 3-4 month storyline, and then he could go away for a bit, and then come back in for 3-4 months, go away. Like
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I can see that.
When Roddy Piper, he used to do that all the time back in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
He would show up he'd come in for a while, then leave. Because it felt bigger when he came back, and you're not bored with him. So, guys,
for sure.
Real quick, let's get to our comments because we got a lot of people that are on the comments.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have many. So let's see, Mr. Oh God, this guy's always first, Mr. Scott. Thanks for coming in, and you got your wish. He has shown his face. Cody Rhodes cheated.
Cody Rhodes cheated.
Oh my!
How did he cheat? Let's see. Almost, From who's that guy? By the way, Alec, you know him? Or...
Who?
This guy that's
never seen him.
Alex.
I've never seen him in my life.
I loved.
He likes video games or something.
Ooh, we're going back
to video games.
We're going back to the late '90s now. Mud wrestling. Remember Miss Kitty?
Miss Kitty.
Oh, Nick, you know this guy very well. You and Alex.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, Sean
Mr.
Spencer.
Sean Spencer.
Who's that guy? Somebody who let him in here? Who let him in the comments? No.
Sean says he loves the Cody Rhodes storyline. Yeah,
it's been done. It's like Edge just did it. Like really, like let's be honest here. And Edge did it better than what Cody Rhodes was doing.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to build him up to come back.
Listen, I'm gonna let's not call shit where shit is due. Okay, Edge broke his neck. Okay, Cody tore a pec. That is a very different injury. Okay,
well,
I just want to point that out.
Yeah,
no, I agree, but
fair enough,
but Edge was also out how many years though? I mean,
Nine
pectoral,
years,
like you said, the guy's out 7-8 months. Edge was out for like what, 10 years?
So what about Big E then? If Big E comes back, then what?
Well, I
think he'll be thrown right back up top.
Yeah.
You think?
I would hope so.
Oh, yeah.
You would hope so. I thought it was stupid when he lost the belt. That was so dumb.
Yeah, I really liked him as champion.
That was horrible. The way they did that was just horrible.
I agree, Nick.
That was bad.
You want to comment on this? You want to share your?
It's a sick fantasy.
Poor
Scotty doesn't know what me and Alec do in the band on Sundays.
That man has some serious issues. Someone check up on him.
Fair enough.
Serious.
Spencer says, "Let's go, Bianca." Yeah, she's EST. I mean, is there?
She's awesome.
Do you think Asuka beats Bianca, or do you think they continue having Bianca win?
I think Bianca is boring.
I don't think this has been the best title run for her.
It hasn't.
No, definitely not. No.
Now have they really like?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alex.
No, I was going to say the whole EST thing. Like, I get it, and of course but after a while that does get stale. Honestly, like that's what she had going. It's the braid and the EST thing, which I get it. Her finishing move is great, but after a while you just go, well, do you do anything differently? Like, how does she reinvent herself? And the thing is, she doesn't. That's to me. That's anyway. Well, go ahead, Alex. Yeah.
Alex, you have her fight Asuka at WrestleMania. You have Asuka come in as the heel, and you do a double turn.
Yeah, you could.
You flip Bianca heel.
Sure,
but you don't do it against Asuka, though. Is the thing.
No,
because Asuka's going to be better as a heel than she is as a face. Honestly, if she goes back to that Kana character she had in Japan. 10 times better than her being nice Asuka.
I thought she was coming back like that. I thought she was going to come back to that at the Royal Rumble. That's what I was expecting.
Well, she kind of did. She spit the mist in Morgan's face. She was going to spit it at Rhea. Rhea ducks. Morgan gets it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think she had the old face paint on. I think you have to make Asuka the heel now. And she just needs to beat, whether she wins or not, she needs to beat the ever-loving snot out of Bianca.
Well, Nick,
seriously.
what we need to see is Tajiri and Asuka team up. And we get to see a green mist and a blue mist
Oh my god, I love Tajiri was the best, dude. Remember that whole thing with Tori Wilson?
Yeah.
Anybody remember that? That was the best, bro. Tajiri was awesome. Him and William Regal, phenomenal stuff. That
Oh,
stuff was
So
great.
then,
Go
so then
ahead.
maybe if we want to build up Asuka as this monster heel, then what you
Yeah.
do
I think you should.
is you go back. I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was like 5-6 years ago, something like that, where at the Elimination Chamber, you have her beat Braun Strowman, you have her clear house only to lose right at the end. To say,
Yeah,
Liv, Raquel, someone like that, and then you have Bianca
Yeah.
turn on them. You know what I mean?
possibly.
Well-
I mean, they did that with the Shayna Baszler thing, where she eliminated everybody in that one elimination chamber. That was like 2-3
Yeah.
years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
So you
Like,
had
you
Asuka
could do something like
eliminate
that where
everyone
she-
but one.
See, I
Yeah,
would have.
yeah, something like that.
I think they missed the boat here with Bailey, with her being a heel right now. I think it could have been a good time to take the belt off Bianca, maybe at a Survivor Series or something, because they had that ladder match. Bailey,
Yeah, but they're too. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I have so many opinions on this stuff. Go ahead. You're the host, brother. No, go ahead. Don't let me.
I was going to say, and I think I know where you're going to go with this. The whole damage control storyline, I think they kind of
It's
had
damage.
to dump it. Yeah, because
Yeah,
Damage,
Kyle's 100%. That thing is done already. Please kill it. Like,
yeah.
and even the
Bailey's
Bailey
fine on
Becky
her
thing
own.
is starting to really get boring.
Yeah, she doesn't
I don't
need
care
anyone
about
with
it.
her.
Yeah, I
Control
don't, and I don't
leading,
care about
okay?
Bailey and I don't care about Bailey and Becky fighting. I really don't. I think that's dumb booking. I don't know. Just me.
yeah, Alex so mad at Bailey. He hates damage control.
Oh, is that? I hate
It won't
damage
matter
control,
though,
yeah.
because Bliss. I think I know you guys were talking about it before. I don't think the Bliss thing is done. I think it's done maybe temporarily, but when she does have that full flip, I'm telling you, man. I think Bliss will win the title. I think Bray Wyatt wins the United States title or something like that, and then it's gonna be a whole thing. I think maybe like
See,
Uncle Howdy, quote unquote, Bo Dallas, quote unquote.
I
Right,
think
quote,
that's who it is. Yeah.
Kyle, I think Mr. Sean's going to disagree with you. He's like, "Can we stop that whole funhouse thing with the Lex-"
Nah, you know what? Okay, I gotta go on a tangent on this, okay? Because I've read a lot of shit,
Uh-oh.
like a lot of shit on this, and honestly, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's for everybody saying that the Bray Wyatt storyline is boring and it's not wrestling. Well, let me refresh you of who the Undertaker is and what made wrestling interesting. So the thing is the why I like Bray Wyatt is he's very good at promos. Number one, obviously this is clear because he's kept like a whole plethora of people following him for how long, and the guy isn't a bad wrestler. Like even when he came in as the Wyatt family, like that captivated wrestling. People loved it. People watched it because of that. That's what essentially, blew up Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, all of them, right? So Bray Wyatt knows what he's doing. So for everybody that's like, oh, this isn't wrestling, just stop. Like you're just so blind, because if you're gonna say that you don't like Bray Wyatt, then don't try and tell me that you like The Undertaker, because you're lying.
See,
Just
and
straight up.
I kind of agree with you, and I was a massive Undertaker guy, and I also really like Bray Wyatt, but I think the difference is you didn't do all these gimmick matches with the Undertaker. You had the casket match and all that, obviously, but you didn't have to do the red lights for Hell in a Cell when he was the Fiend. You didn't have to do like pitch black matches, all that. And I understand why they're doing it, because it's a whole different, like it's a different character than what the Undertaker is. But the thing is the Undertaker was great at wrestling in just the normal matches, and they let him do that, where they're trying to force Bray into all these gimmick matches and everything, like all that stuff. And that's where I think people are having the issue with it.
Yeah,
So that's fair.
well, I was gonna say, Alex, I'll piggyback off you guys. Like, I like the Bray Wyatt character too, but I don't know, something's disconnecting with me this time. I don't know if it's like build is being too slow, or
It is. Build
feels
is too
like
slow.
I can agree with that.
maybe Bray's.
I mean, the last time he
kinda
had
like-
it was
go ahead.
more so like it got thrown at us the first time. I'm guessing
They built the Fiend too quick, and now they're building him too slow.
Yeah.
yeah, because like
And
he
also,
came back,
maybe that's part of its Bray, though. Maybe it's like, I don't see that. It's kind of like Rhonda, she's just happy to be there, and there's not that extra going that extra mile. with
No.
it. I mean,
Yeah, this run of hers is horrible. It really is.
Oh, it was awful.
But
Fans,
even
fans
with
have turned
that,
on her.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead,
I was-
Kyle. What were you saying?
I was trying to say, even with that though, like even with Ronda, and like the difference is though is Bray can talk and Ronda can't. Like I'm gonna be completely honest. Like Ronda
No,
can't
no,
sell
yeah,
a promo for the life of her.
I'm just
Yeah,
going
she's
by
awful.
by like attitude, body language wise. You know, maybe it's just
Yeah, Ronda looks
feels aloof.
uninterested. She really does.
Yeah.
Now, do you think with Bray, it might have been the fact that they kind of knew that this was a storyline that wasn't going anywhere, that it was just for him to get his first match, and that was kind of it? Do you
No,
think that could maybe be it?
I think
I
it's a
hope so
bigger
because
thing.
I don't know why he would wrestle LA Knight again.
Yeah. And
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
well that
LA
one's
Knight-
done. That's done.
I thought LA Knight
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what I'm saying.
stole the whole program. You know, his promos were great. And then
But
you
no,
kinda
he
squash-
did, and that's the thing. And then you have
Yeah.
a 6-minute match, then you're just like, that was horrible.
But I think
That's what I didn't like about that match. It was only 6 minutes. It was horrible.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
why I gave it a
Kyle,
9
Kyle.
out of 10. The they've been doing that matchup for like what, like weeks now before the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah.
It should
that
have
was
been
back
longer than
by
that. That's why I
like
gave it a 9 out of 10.
Survivor Series, wasn't it?
Okay.
But it started somewhere around there. Like, and again, I actually went to the SmackDown on the 23rd here in Chicago when they filmed. They did the 23rd, then they filmed the 30th show. So you had all the LA Knight and Bray stuff. Like on the same night, I got to see that stuff being taped. And you're right, man. LA Knight actually did a really good job with this storyline. I think he carried it, like you said, for the most part. Because obviously, you know, Bray did his thing, and then Uncle Howdy would come out and just stand there and stare until he finally gave Bray the, you know, Sister Abigail. But LA Knight, like you said, Ben, he carried the program, I thought, honestly. And
Yeah.
for the payoff to be a 6-minute match, and then you go outside the ring and, you know, Uncle Howdy jumps off a stage, misses him badly, by the way. If you watch
By,
that
like,
spot again,
almost
you
10
like
feet.
totally, you like totally missed him, and you're like, okay, well, never mind then, I guess. You know, it's like, oh, come on. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I thought that was
You got me
horrible.
so worked up that I exited out. No.
Yeah.
Now,
I
you know
see
what
that,
you were
Kyle.
gonna do? You, Kyle, I thought you were going to go to Scott Thaler's house and give him a
Oh
stump.
no, yeah, I was thinking about it. Yeah. No, you know what? No, okay, so this is what I think is gonna happen. Like, I think everything you guys are saying is right. Like, I do think it's a slow build. I think it should have been a lot faster. But I think there's gonna be. I hope it's more regular for him to wrestle before WrestleMania. That's what I'm hoping.
agreed.
But I do think after WrestleMania, it's going to accelerate a lot. I just think that basically what they're doing is I do think it's going to be the Wyatt Six. I do think there's going to be people that are going to be like, you know, Ramblin' Rabbit. I think somebody's going to be Sister Abigail. I do think somebody's going to be like Huskus the Pig, all the Firefly Funhouse. And it's going to be coming to life. And that's going to be probably one of the coolest factions we've seen in a little bit. It'll be the most interesting. But the thing is until that actually happens, I think it's going to be slow. And you're probably going to lose some people with it, right? So for them to build it up, they want to use Uncle Howdy, and that's how it's all going to start. And then what they, I think, should have done, which they still could, but I don't see it going this way potentially, is by Bray beating LA Knight in that dark pitch black match, which I think was only done to bring in money. I'm going to be completely honest.
It was.
That's the only reason. I
Yeah,
think.
they got $1 million from Mountain Dew for that match.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's why they did
Yeah,
it. But
$1 million. Yeah.
I think LA Knight should become one of the puppets now.
No, I don't see him. doing
He's good enough to be by himself. I think he's
I
gotta
agree.
be by himself.
that.
But
here's,
do you think?
go ahead, Alex. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, do you think we saw Bray so disinterested, right, with this? Well, we think he was so disinterested from this feud with Knight. Do we think it could maybe be because even though he was gone for a bit, Bray's still an established star, and LA Knight's just working his way in?
Yeah.
And LA Knight carried it because this is his first program on the main roster?
Yeah.
Could that be why?
I mean, it's one of those things where he had that, whatever the fashion model shit.
Oh,
he
yeah,
did.
Max Dupree. Or the whole character.
Yeah,
That was kinda like-
that was awful.
I was
That
like,
was
what
so
the- I was
bad.
like,
It's
that
still
was one of
bad.
those, what the fuck-
That was
They're still
Vince-
doing that?
That was Vince McMahon. That was
Yes,
his idea.
Mason Mansoor were just on last week.
Ugh.
They showed him.
Oh, good
And then
Lord.
Triple H said, "No,
It's
no, no. We're getting
It's horrible. It's a
And then
horrible.
look at me,
That
Fandango.
Eminem thing.
Give me Fandango back. May as well.
Fandango.
Oh,
Fandango.
That would bring Tyler Breeze
Oh, I
back
was
at that
gonna-
point.
Well, he may as well.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
better wrestler. then
Yeah.
Yeah,
half of them,
Tyler Breeze is a good wrestler. Yeah, Tyler Breeze is a good wrestler.
Yeah. Kyle, I was going to
Prince
piggyback
Pretty.
off a comment real quick about how you said factions, right?
yeah.
What about after Mania?
Oh.
What about the Bloodline? What if Bray did something to cost Roman a title? Then you have the Bloodline
Oh.
against the Wyatt faction, whatever that is.
If that happens,
You could have
If-
a new program.
if that happens, okay,
Yeah.
if that happens, I will suplex my son. Okay, I will suplex him to the couch. Like I will lose it. I'll lose it. Like, I'll absolutely lose it at that point. Like
Yeah, on the bottom right.
Yeah. I will lose it. Honestly, if something like that happened, because the reason why I think I'd lose it is just nobody would expect it. Nobody here would expect it. Nobody out there would expect it. I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, WWE, you got me. You know, I wasn't. I'm drinking the orange juice now. I see. All right.
Hey, think about it. I
Yeah.
mean, you said factions. You know, Bloodline is a faction, and there's no other factions in the WWE right now. You know, maybe
Nah.
counteract that. I don't know. That's just one of the thoughts they could do.
Uh,
Well, what about
No,
the
I mean,
Judgment Day? Weren't
I
they going to do
was
something like that with
gonna
the Judgment Day?
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
could do
that's right. I
that.
forgot
You
about
could
that.
do when AJ gets back. You could do him, Gallows, Anderson.
No, the Good Brothers.
No, the Bullet Club. You have to pull in Finn Balor for that,
Yeah, too late. He's with the Judgment Day.
and then sign Kenny Omega too. Because Kenny, can you imagine if
Yeah.
Kenny Omega came to
Oh,
WWE?
God.
Oh my gosh,
He's got a
insane!
W, man. He's a vice president. He's never going anywhere. Like,
He's so
Well,
good.
Cody was way up there too. So
you know who this guy is? I'm not sure.
no, never seen him before in my life.
Never
But he
seen
makes a
him
good point.
That's Alex. I only bet on football, so I don't lose more. That's who that is.
Alex's wife will make a huge entrance on
No,
day.
she's not coming back.
All those
She's
ladies'
not coming
asses.
back.
Mercedes, Alec, I'm sorry,
He's
man.
not-
Like I don't want
not
to. I don't want
coming
to
back.
crap on your girl. I hated Sasha Banks. Hated Sasha Banks.
Really?
Like
Why?
honest, and you know what?
He was so good.
Hear me out. She's a great wrestler. I think she's an awesome wrestler. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Extremely
She's just a
charismatic.
crap human being. That's my
Yeah,
issue.
She doesn't have the best reputation.
It's
and
2023. We
Yeah.
love toxicity.
Yeah, no, I mean, you
He
do make a
said he
good
loved
point.
that.
Backstage, she wasn't easy to get along with. I mean, she had some issues. I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't put the title on her so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Often because of that and injuries. You know, she's been injury prone.
Yeah.
I hope she does well in
Yeah.
New Japan, you know,
True.
but we'll see what happens. I think she'll
Yeah.
come back eventually, but probably be a couple years. So,
I think they
Yeah.
do too. I think they think she's coming back as well. Like, yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
Also,
Yeah,
No,
Seth
it's
is
Hold
one of
on,
those things,
Johnny.
like, what's
the
up,
way I saw
Kyle?
it was, like, they were trying to bring Naomi into the whole, like, what's it called, bloodline, but I guess that plan went far right.
Would have been better for Nia Jax, but they kind of screwed that one
Oh.
up before it even started. Like,
Oh, she's
That's the
awful.
whole problem with Jax's entire run. It's just one screw up after another, honestly, whether it's her fault or their fault. And then they come
Yeah.
back and they screw up her Royal Rumble entrance. It's like, I think that's just a
bad.
sign of things to come. So
what's
bad.
sweet-
It's just
no,
horrible.
but what got her in trouble was when she hit Becky Lynch with a real shot. To
Yeah,
the
but,
nose.
Yeah,
but
like,
that,
didn't
Well,
that
and then
makes
that
Becky
late
the
shirt
man.
fight with Charlotte and like
Yeah.
Yeah, but that shoot fight in the ring in that match was hilarious. They're
Who-
just slapping at each other, pulling hair and stuff. Like you're like, come on.
Who got
Nia and
knocked
Charlotte
out?
when
Was it
they had
Liv
the-
Morgan who got knocked out?
What happened?
I
I know. I think it was. I can't remember who was
It was-
wrestling, but I remember it was Liv Morgan.
It was supposed to be.
Oh my god, and somebody else. And oh my god, was it was it Ronda?
Yeah, it was
the-
Becky
no.
and Ronda. But what happened was during that, it was on Raw where SmackDown invaded Raw. Becky got
Oh
hit,
yeah.
broke her
Yeah,
nose.
she hit her. She broke her nose.
They had to cancel that match with her and Ronda. So they never really
But
got
that's
to
why she became the man after that. Like that was the whole. She became the man because she took a punch from Nia and she's tough and all that stuff. So that actually helped her. Nia actually pushed Becky Lynch further with
Yeah.
breaking her nose. You know what I mean? That's kind of one of those weird accidents where you go,
out of the
Yeah.
that Miss
Yeah.
Kitty,
But
aka
anyways.
Pat and Terry storyline with Val Venus was great.
Val Venus. Oh, look at Sean's going way back. Attitude Era.
Well, you gotta spell Val
Miss
Venus.
Kitty and Terry.
It's
You know-
Val
VENIS.
Venus.
Yeah.
Talking about
Yeah.
finishers,
Bill.
though, like I know Nick was talking about finishers. You know who actually had a killer finisher was
Finish him.
Killian Dane. If you remember,
Oh,
who
you
that
like
is.
this
Yeah, yeah.
finisher? Yeah.
Yeah.
Killian
NXT
Dane
guy,
had a
Killian Dane.
crazy finisher.
Guys,
Yeah,
did
he
you
was
see-
like in the Rumble like 2-3 years ago, and then you never saw him again.
Well, because
Yeah.
of the sanity thing, like that could have been
No, I
so
know.
big, but they screwed that up real big.
Did you see
Yeah, well,
that?
they did. Well, again.
Did you guys see that online? It was on NXT. I think it was the Level Up show, which is like the superstars. of,
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
where this girl did a move off the top rope. It was a backflip diamond, like a stunner or something.
Oh,
that's
I think I did see
oh
that,
my god,
actually,
Yeah,
oh my god, I love her. What's her name? Something.
He goes,
she's a newer.
what's her name?
on
Yeah.
NXT, like a surfer gimmick, kind of
No,
backflip.
I'm
and
thinking
did a-
of not Thorn. Oh my god, what's her name? She's the African American girl. She always had that yellow, red, and orange. Oh my god, something Moon, Ember Moon. That's it.
oh, Ember Moon.
Yeah,
Ember
That
Moon,
was
yeah.
her finisher.
Well, yeah, well, kind of, but this one did like a backflip into a stunner. It was very
It's pretty close. Go look it up. I'm not even kidding you. Ember Moon, her finisher was deadly.
Sean says,
Yeah, there's been some good ones.
I hated that he got hurt trying that storyline with Sheamus and his cronies. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was brutal, man. That was
just a freak accident, though. That
Yeah.
was.
but they could have.
Yeah, it was, but it's
It sucks because you know what? Honestly, with Big E, what I would have heard they were gonna do is they're gonna split up the New Day, and like it would have been like a New Day, like Kofi versus like Big E or Xavier Woods and stuff, and that's what they were leading to, and I think that would have been really good.
maybe.
It was better with Bianca when she was with her man in that tag team. Oh, the Street Profits.
The Street Profits, yeah. Well, that's. I mean, there's a lot of women valets now. If you notice, like you got B-Fab with Hit Row, and then Zelina's with Legado de Fantasma, and you got who's the other one? Oh, I'm drawing a blank now for some reason.
What?
The girl who's with Valhalla's back with the Viking Raiders, Sarah Logan.
Scarlett with the Killer Cross.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Scarlet's with Karrion Cross, and like the valets of Lady Valets have made a comeback now in the WWE. It's like everybody's got one now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's too
It
many.
reminds me of
them.
that
Agreed.
one tag team, M&M, when they had Melina. on
Yeah,
the team.
Melina with Morrison and Mercury and
That's when
Morrison.
the Hardys
and they had
were
Melina.
big. Oh man, I remember that.
That's when
They had
the Joey
Lita for all
Mercury-
those years. Yeah,
That's when they had the Joey Mercury accident where they had the TLC match.
Yeah.
That was from Jeff
yeah,
Hardy too
yeah.
that did that.
that was bad, man. Oh,
That
I
was
felt bad for
brutal,
Mercury.
yeah.
That pretty much ended his career. Yeah,
That was
Done.
crazy. I shouldn't say wicked, but that was cool.
WWE.
Dunzo.
Alec, you gonna wrestle Scott?
I don't know what the heck he's talking about.
You're gonna go lay the
Turnbuckle around
smackdown
the
on
thing in the
Scott.
guest room.
Oh man.
They need to do Liv Morgan like they did with Mandy Rose and AEW.
Wait, she's over there now?
No,
Mandy
Oh.
Rose actually got fired for
Right, she got fired for showing her
for
boobies on
indecent
OnlyFans.
exposure with her photos, which is
Indecent
kind of
exposure, right?
BS a little bit. I don't know, like I don't understand it. I'm
If
not.
there's something in their contract saying they can't do that, though, that
well,
would be the
she's
only
making
reason.
more money.
I mean, that's why Zelina was fired at first, because she had a page, a Twitch page or something, and they told her she wouldn't take it down, so they fired her, and then they brought her back. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think Mandy's upset about it. She's making more money now than she is.
she'll be back.
She made $1
This-
million
this will be
in
short,
the
she'll be
first
back.
week after they fired her. Yeah,
Jesus.
she's fine.
Why
She's
would
making
you go
money.
back then?
I
Yeah.
agree with
No,
Sean
kidding.
right here.
She made $1 million in the next week after they fired her. I wouldn't go back either.
Yeah,
No.
I mean,
I love
Yeah,
Mandy
Sean.
Rose.
Alexa Bliss is talented, Sean. Like she really is a talented.
She's really
female
good,
wrestler.
yeah.
I like this comment. from
Everybody
Sean.
loves Alexa,
The
don't you?
Alexa Bliss I love the blonde, kind of pretty girl, kind of arrogant. Like I'm better. That's
Yeah,
the,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when she was at her best.
for the whole.
Yeah, no,
That was
absolutely.
when she was that whole thing with Nia, and they did the whole thing. Like that was pretty good storyline
Yeah.
in terms of just. I mean, because given Bliss had to carry that obviously because Nia's not that talented,
No.
but
Yeah.
she did a good job with it, and that's why I say I think that showed that Bliss could handle her own you know,
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and in storyline and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? She did a really good job
She's
with that.
she's main event caliber. It's just her character hasn't been in forever.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm
No,
Yeah,
but
that's
not
true.
gonna
That's
say-
true.
I'm not
I was
gonna
gonna say,
say
guys,
that
I actually gotta
minutes
run.
might pick me up.
I got some other things that I gotta get going before
Okay.
the little man goes to bed. But
Kyle, promote
thanks for
yourself.
having me on, and I hope to hop in soon. So
Okay, that was. Bye, Kyle. Oh, there
bye,
he is.
guys. Sorry.
He's back. He's back.
All right.
Oh, okay. Well, Kyle, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it, man.
That was great.
Make
He's
sure
like,
I
"Oh,
have
where'd
your
he go?"
flight number so I can
There you go.
pick you up at the airport, bro. I'm not having you pick me up at the airport. Schedule's like- I have
You
friends
don't
in
have to
St.
get an
Louis.
Uber. You don't have to call a cab or anything.
I have
Oh,
friends.
I have-
I have friends in St. Louis for
He's
that.
got friends in St. Louis.
Yeah, Scott's one of them. That's
No,
Scott wants to be your
No.
valet.
yeah.
no,
He
I
wants,
already.
he, wa-
have
he
my
wants to be
valet.
your vehicle, baby. He'll take you anywhere you want to go.
No, hard pass on that.
Ben got that one.
Let's get a few more comments in and
All right.
this baby up. Okay, we read that.
I have
one.
your flight number, so I can. Oh, yeah, there you go.
What do you think
What do you
about?
think about that?
Can't
I like
stand
having
it.
actual rest. I
I
don't
can't
like it.
stand it. I
I
really.
like.
Well, you know,
It's annoying.
I do.
It's
You have to be
useless,
a-
pointless.
You know, like he has to
but
be.
that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You hate him.
But it's
Like, I
to
get
a-
it. Like you
it's
said,
to a way
He's still green. He's
over-exaggerated
not a great
standard.
wrestler. He's not. I get all that. But as a character, it's phenomenal. Finn
See, but
Balor
that's-
even said in an interview,
Right.
they get nuclear heat just for them walking out because
Yeah,
everybody
but-
boos Dominic.
No, but
Everyone
Think
else,
of it like
everyone else in that
think of
group
it like
has
this.
heel heat. He has go away heat. Like
Right. But
No,
it's
but-
still heat, and that's what draws, man. People love to hate that guy, and
I like
with
him
good
mommy.
reason. I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
but
Mommy.
you got to admit, you have to admit though, that was whoever made that call, honestly, to put that whole him and Rhea Ripley thing. That was good. That was genius
see,
because that worked so well for the both of them. Honestly, it propelled Rhea too. Like,
Yep.
there's a reason she's getting a push because that whole mommy thing is great. Like,
See,
come
and
on, that the
that
one night
stuff
on Raw
before-
when Priest told him that as long as it doesn't burn somewhere else, when he got the thing in his eye,
yeah.
dude, that was the greatest thing ever.
I mean,
And
Rhea
in my
smacks
him, it's
opinion,
like,
the reason why I don't like it is because it's like there's things that they over exaggerate in WWE, but that storyline,
all the time.
I feel like it's like a slow news day. Like on Christmas, on Christmas and New Year's, it showed him point to Rey Mysterio's house and then beating
Yeah.
him up. I'm like, so this is what we give out. That's and no, I want your flight information because you ain't getting it. I'm not giving you my flight info. You can crumple it up and throw it to left field because I'm not giving you shit.
Oh man, that's funny.
And that's
My
sad.
thing with that,
No, by the way.
Cardinals fans nowadays, you gotta.
yeah, Alec would be a great heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alec would be a great hero.
The Dominic
See,
stuff
this is
with
why I
Judgment Day,
question
like
some Cardinals
before.
fans. I question some of them. Even though I'm a Cardinals fan, I question some of them. Don't tell Nick what I said yesterday. Don't
ahead.
tell him what I said yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell
No,
him.
oh, too late. No,
What'd you say yesterday? No, what'd you say yesterday?
I'm
What
good.
happened?
We do a baseball show.
No,
right?
no. I am not.
Oh,
I am not
I
offended
froze,
by
so that's
anything
why I was
here.
like,
Yeah, I am not
Cubs,
offended by anything.
Cardinals.
Go ahead and share what you said yesterday on the baseball show. Go ahead, because you know I'm not a
I
Cub
told him
fan,
that
right? I
all
work in
Cardinals
I work
fans
at Wrigley, but I'm not a Cub fan. Go ahead.
Cubs fans are one dimensional. I mean, every Cub fan I've interfered with. I'm not saying you or Delilah. I have not had a conversation with you
No,
guys.
I'm not a
No,
Cub
it's-
fan. You don't have to apologize.
Oh, well,
I work there. No, you're
Oh,
good.
well, I told him.
What'd you
that
say, though? I
most
want to hear
Cubs
what you
fans
said. Go ahead.
They're like one-dimensional. Like, even though Cardinals own them mostly every year, which is not it's not a preference, it's a fact. But they're one-dimensional, and they could bring up many years of losing. They'll always bring up that one World Series, and then went irrelevant again. Just saying.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something seriously, Alec, because this is gonna be my 17th season working at Wrigley Field, and I'm gonna tell you this in all honesty. This is the deal. Any Cub game you go to, 60% of the people there are there to party and have a good time. You've got probably 30 to 35% that are true diehards who have season tickets, come all the time. They love the Cubs. The other 5% is tourists. because they want to see Wrigley Field and the whole thing. Like I encounter this every year. It's the same. It hasn't changed in years. That's the way it is. And so it's funny to me because, like you said, I'm a White Sox fan actually. So it's always fun when the White Sox come to Wrigley and all that. And it used to be great because they used to do 6 games a year. Now they only do 4. But yeah, I mean, Cubs would always, World Series 2016. I'm like, yeah, well, the Sox won one in 2005, so we won one before you did. And then I get obviously all the hate from everyone about blah, blah, blah. We won one the last, we're the last one to win one. I'm like, yeah, you probably will be. You're right. It'll be another 108 years. So Cub fans are a special breed, no doubt. Like I agree with you. They are one dimensional. A lot of them. It really is. But again, if you want to party and have a good time, go to a game at Wrigley, and it's
I've
a
been
great
there
time.
before.
But yeah,
I got a beer chucked in my jersey.
yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
More than just the Cardinal jersey you were wearing. It might have been something else.
I wore. That's the one That's the one that got destroyed. I had the a Yadier Molina jersey, and they got basically like destroyed. I mean, not from that situation, but over time.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing that jersey into Wrigley Field. That's my favorite player. That jersey.
Don't bring anything you want to keep clean over there. Yeah.
Mr. Loosemore, if Ohio State said, you know what, we're going to offer you a job over at at our stadium, would work our football game?
Not a fucking chance. No. No.
He'll do it, but he'll have the Michigan hat on.
Right.
I would work at a Michigan State game before an Ohio State game.
Ooh.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's serious rivalry talking there. Yeah.
10 times over. Like Michigan State's little brother. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Kyle, you don't need to apologize. We appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah.
Glad to have you.
Never forget me, Kyle.
This one, we're gonna.
Hey, what are you doing that for, Kyle? What are you watching little kids now? Yeah.
I wanted to do this because on the day we do a show, I thought interesting. Let's do it on this date, February 5th, 1988. WWE had a show called Main Event, Saturday Night's Main Event. You had Hulk Hogan against Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant actually won the title that night, but by both the twins there.
The 2 Dave Hebners.
2 Dave Hebner.
Or Earl Hebner, his brother Earl, but they had 2 Dave Hebners. That was great.
I thought they looked familiar.
But before the Montreal screw job, this is another kind of screw job with the twins and everything.
Oh yeah, totally.
On this date, February 5th, 1988. So this was 30.
Both involving Earl Hebner.
5 years ago. Yep. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then he gives the belt to Ted. He gave the belt to Ted DiBiase.
That's right.
That's when that happened.
Yeah, that was that whole thing. Andre won it and gave it to DiBiase. Yeah.
See, I knew that happened. I just didn't know it was that time. Like that's
that was the Saturday Night's Main Event. I said I remember watching it live, like when it happened. I was like, oh wow, and I'm at 88. I would have been 15. So yeah, I have a pretty decent recollection of it. Yeah.
He was 8 years old or 7 years old when that happened.
Yeah, I'm old. It's okay, Ben. I'm 50 already, so don't worry about it.
I think
Alex is he's only 15, but I mean,
yeah, Alex.
I'd be the world's biggest 15-year-old.
Well, Robin Williams, late great Robin Williams, was the biggest 10-year-old.
That's right. Jack, was it Jack?
Jack. All right, guys.
I remember growing.
Great show tonight. Great first show again. Next week we're not going to do one only because the Super Bowl's on and everybody's going to be watching the Super Bowl.
Oh, there's a football game on? Oh, wait, no way.
Yeah, just some little football game, not too important.
Eagles and Chiefs. I mean, who cares, right?
Two decent teams.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? I might watch it if I get the time.
But,
if I'm not busy doing my nails or something, maybe I'll watch that, right?
So what we're going to do is Elimination Chambers, February 18th. That's a Saturday.
Yeah.
Nick, since you're new to the show, we're going to do a pregame show an hour before. So we would love to have you if you're available for that.
I should be. I'll let you know for sure. But yeah, that sounds like fun. I love pre-shows.
Great. So guys, we're going to take a week off next week, but we'll be back the 18th to do our pregame show. And before we go, I want to have Mr. Rosario promote himself and where we can find you.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, Tuesday evenings, we have a little program called Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. And that's where you can find me on Tuesday nights about 7:30 Central. It's me. The show itself, the core is me, Delilah Crispo, and Anthony Handy, Mr. Fingers. And then we always have guests on. Alex has been on a bunch. Tina Winter, Kyle's been on. We always try to get different people on to have some fun and all that stuff. So we are doing our Super Bowl show this Tuesday. It's a lot of facts, stats, questions, some Super Bowl trivia. So check us out Tuesday night, 7:30. We will be doing our special Super Bowl show this week. So I hope you enjoy that. Thank you.
All right.
And thank you for having me, Ben. I do appreciate it. I've always wanted
No
to talk
problem, man.
wrestling. So thank you.
Anytime, man. Mr. Schomburg, where can we find you at other than being with Scott?
Definitely
Same
not with
stuff.
Scott, but okay. Anyways, you can find me on Thursdays with Ben. Oh my gosh, Ben, Alex, and Johnny. Occasionally we get Anthony on the show, but that's mostly on what I'm usually on. Fridays is usually questionable on the Ben Zone or on the Have At It show. It's kind of like up in the air depending on the week. That's about it. Besides the comments, usually in the comment section, Let's Talk Football videos they have on their live shows. That's about it.
Your enthusiasm just radiates with everybody else here. Appreciate that.
Yeah, this heel attitude here is really showing.
Mr. Leesmore, where can we find you at, my good friend?
So you can find me, like you guys said, Thursday nights with Ben, Alec, and Johnny on the NFL edition. It's supposed to be a 9 p.m. Eastern start time, but it's whenever we get our shit together and hop on. Friday nights, again, 9 p.m. Eastern, but kind of whenever we get our shit together. Me, Andrew Faubert, Sid Swinton, and Christopher Warshuk for North Sports Dynasty. You can catch me Saturday mornings with Mr. Sean Spencer for Let's Talk College Football. We're coming back after the Super Bowl, so I think we're taking, obviously we took this week off. I think next week off and then coming back after that. And then I've got a Lions show coming soon for North Sports Dynasty closer to the end of the month here, so stay tuned for that.
Nice. Alex, I can't wait to watch that. And
Yeah, that'd be good.
yeah, okay, I'm going to read Sean's comment here. He says, guys, give yourself a Barry Horowitz pat on the back.
There you go, Barry Horowitz. There.
Great show. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. And he cannot
Yeah,
wait
thank
to
you for.
Awesome.
Very nice.
This one's for Mr. Schomburg there, Ellen. All right.
One of the greatest jobbers of all time, right? Barry Horowitz. That guy was awesome.
Yes, he was. Yes.
The one of the greatest jobbers of all time.
One of the
Brooklyn
greatest.
Brawler would have to be number one,
Yeah,
wouldn't he? Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah.
Number one jobber ever. Yeah, Brooklyn Brawler.
All right, guys. Listen, thank you so much for being on the show. Everybody out there, thank you for commenting, watching the show, and we're going to do this again next time. So have a good night,
Yeah.
have a good weekend, and take care.